Hello and welcome to the new section on automating Excel, PDF, and email documents. In this video, we will learn about Excel automation. Let's get started. Microsoft Excel is a widely used application for storing, organizing, and manipulating data, as it is easy to use, easily accessible, and can be shared easily. However, it may not be always user-friendly, and it can at times prove to be very time-consuming and hard to integrate with other applications. Today's working environment is multi-application focused, with data constantly being transferred between applications. Many times, working with data through Excel is repetitive and a part of a larger workflow. UiPath Excel Automation provides manipulating Excel data hassle and error-free. It saves valuable time and relieves human workforce from boring, repetitive tasks. UiPath provides two approaches to integrate with Excel: application integration and file direct access. For application integration, you must have Excel installed, whereas for file direct access, it is not required. In the application integration approach, multiple processes can use the same file, while only one process can use the Excel file in file direct access. Application integration can work with .xls, .xlsx, and .xlsm, the macro-enabled file, whereas the file direct access can work with .xlsx. You will be able to see changes happening real time in the Excel with application integration. The package that provides Excel activities is uipath.excel.activities. There are two sets of UiPath activities. The key activity in application integration is Excel application scope, providing container for other Excel activities. You can perform operations such as read a cell value using read cell activity, read column to read an entire column, read range to read an Excel range, read row to read an entire row. You can use write cell to write a value or a formula, write range to write a range data which will overwrite if there is an existing data in the target range. Use append range to append the data at the end of the Excel data. There are processing activities providing ability to execute an Excel macro and invoking a VBA script. There are many other activities within the processing group. A set of activities are available to work with Excel table data. On the other hand, file direct access provides limited but commonly used Excel actions. Excel application scope is a container that enables you to work with all the other Excel activities in application integration group of activities. In this, you will specify the Excel file you want to work with and the Excel activities inside the do sequence block. Let us learn how to use Excel files. We'll work on this Excel file having data for sales. In column A, we have salesperson. In column B, we have quarter of the year. In column C, we have units sold. And in column D, we have sales values. Using automation, we will write total sales value in H1 cell. And in G1, we'll place a label saying total sales. Let us open UiPath Studio. Create a new sequence file. Name it as Excel Automation. Click on Create. For this automation, we'll use Application Integration Group of Activities. We'll go to Activities panel and search for Excel. We will use Excel Application Scope and provide the Excel file path. We'll select sales.xlx file. To write in H1 and G1 cells, we will use write cell activity. Drag and drop. Let's first write in G1 and place simply a label saying total sales. Drag and drop right cell one more time. This time we'll write in H1. You can write a value directly or even a formula. We'll write a formula here in double quotes, equal sum, and place the range that we want to sum up. In our case, our range would be D2 through D13. We'll place that value in our formula, D2 colon D13. After placing these two cell values, we will color code the cells. For that, we'll use set range color. In the properties panel, choose a color using color dot, say yellow. Provide the range. In our case, range would be G1 through H1. Sheet 1 is just fine. Let's place a delay at the end so that Excel file remains there in foreground for few seconds. We'll place 0 hours, 0 minutes and 5 seconds. Let's run our automation. You will see bot will start writing the total sales and the total value in G1 and H1. Now let us add a new column in our data set. In column E, we will write incentive, and for each row, wherever the value is greater than 700,000 US dollars, we will give incentive as 0.5% of the sales value. Let us go to UiPath Studio. In the existing automation, let's add read range activity. Sheet 1 is just fine, and let's provide the range address. Empty string would mean everything from the sheet. In our case, we'll place A1 colon D13. Our range is ranging from A1 through D13. Make sure that add headers is enabled, meaning first row will be treated as headers row. Save the output of this read range into a data table object. Using shortcut method Control K, we will create a variable named sales data. Press enter. Now we will write the header of the column using right cell. Change the address to E1 and simply write the header as incentive. Thereafter, we will process the entire set of rows, and wherever sales value is greater than 700,000 USD, we will provide incentive. To build the logic, we will use a counter to build address of the row. Let's use a variable counter and initialize it with 2 because our first row in our Excel, our data starts from row number 2. We will loop through using for each row. We'll drag and drop and provide sales data, and we will write a condition inside the body using if. In the condition, let us build a condition row round bracket sales to read the sales column. Compare it with the value 700,000. Because the default type would be of object, when we read it from the row, we'll convert it into integer using cint function. We'll place the entire value inside the cint. This will convert into integer at runtime and will perform the comparison. If this comes out to be true, we will use right cell and first generate our address E plus counter. That way our address will be dynamic. Here we will simply write our formula equal 0.5% multiplied by the value coming from that row for sales. To dynamically create it, we'll use string concatenation. We'll use row sales column. This will give us the value from the current row. To convert it into string, we'll use toString. And this way, our formula will be generated dynamically. We will increment our counter every time loop executes. We'll simply use assign. On the left hand side, we'll use counter. On the right hand side, the expression would be counter plus 1. Done. To see changes happening in little slow motion, we intentionally will place a delay. Let us play a delay of 0 hours, 0 minutes, and let's say 2 seconds. All right. Now we are ready to run and see that the bot will write column E with incentive values which are going to be generated dynamically at runtime. Let us run the automation. Bot has started writing the incentives. For every row it is waiting for 2 seconds. The next one. Next two are also valid ones for incentives. Second last one is also valid for incentive. And this is how you can have your automation write values dynamically using a formula looping through the entire data set. Now let us convert our Excel data into Excel table. Thereafter, we will sort the data based on sales value and add a pivot table. Let's go to UiPath Studio. From the Activities panel, let's drag and drop an activity, Create Table. In the Properties, provide range. Here we can simply provide A colon E, including the incentive column. We don't have to specify rows. Simply column addresses would do. In the table name, we'll simply provide a name, table 1. This will create Excel table in the Excel sheet. Thereafter, to sort the data in the table, we can use sort table. Provide the table name, table 1. Provide the column name that you want to use for sorting. We'll provide sales. In the properties panel, we can choose what order we want to use for sorting. Let's select descending so that we have the highest sales value at the top. Let's create a pivot table. Drag and drop, create pivot table. Provide the range where you want to place pivot table. You can provide simply the starting cell address, let's say G2. It will come just below total sales. Provide source table name, which will be table 1. Provide the pivot table name that we want to use. We'll say P table 1. To run our automation in slow motion, relatively, we'll place delay at appropriate places. Let's place delay 0 hours, 0 minutes, and let's say 3 seconds. We'll copy it using Ctrl+C and we'll place it at a couple of more places. We are ready with our automation. Let's run it. Our entire existing automation will also get executed. It's just overwriting. And after that, it will convert the data into Excel table, sort it based on sales, and then generate pivot table. This is how you can perform these operations in Excel data. This concludes Excel automation.